Hello, Bianca.
Hey Alex, how's it going? How's it
Good.
going?
Welcome everybody to A/B testing.
How's Hey y'all.
Hi. Hi.
Wow, our voices are just so soft. It's like welcome to A/B testing.
It's a very
Join.
tranquil world.
Yes. Yeah, we are very no, we're here with you, but also hopefully you're enjoying my Tuesday fashions. Just Mondays.
It works. It's the vibe for today for sure. It's
No,
a day.
I feel that.
Yeah. So it goes. So welcome everybody. We're so happy that you've joined us on this exciting episode. I think it's the 40th episode of A/B testing.
Oh my gosh.
It's wild.
That's great. We didn't even throw it a party. You know, it's a mouse.
What's the stream's 40th birthday? I think it's just today. It's what we're doing, which is having Andrew back on stream.
So that's our party. That's our stream party. Yeah. Okay. I can
Andrew's
dig
gonna
it.
pop out of a cake. Andrew, if you're in the green room and you're hearing this, please find a cake to get in the next few minutes before we go. Yeah.
We're not helping. We're not going to help you procure a cake, but we're just find one
for sure. Yeah. No, we'll bring Andrew on in a few more minutes. We'll just talk first, but yeah, today super excited. We're gonna do our little thing, and then we're gonna bring Andrew on to talk about kind of just like cloud tech and the internet and like that world. And then he's gonna do another show idea he has called 6 Degrees to Twilio, which is we're trying to get Kevin Bacon on, but we haven't been able to book him yet. But the goal is to show how different parts of the internet connect back to Twilio in different ways. Yeah.
It's very exciting stuff. So yes, we're very happy to have you. So to kick off, we have our sponsored, not sponsored segment.
Sponsored, not sponsored.
So I'm not sponsored by the Soli, what do we have? Soli mango. Are you a dried mango twin?
I do like dried mangoes. These are the Kirkland brand.
Okay. We're dried mango twins. So that is fantastic. Also, I'm really into these like ginger shots. One day I will be a true I'm almost there. Okay, I'm a true influencer. Okay, great. Salty. They have these ginger super shots, immune system. Clearly there's a theme with me. This is where I tend to my immune system on stream. You
gotta stay healthy.
And then you got your hydration. So I have that. And then my sponsored, not sponsored, I'm actually going to bring up a company. I know. I'm definitely not sponsored by National Car Rentals. So I wanted to bring up this like sponsored, not sponsored.
Is it National Car Rentals?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So I was so like, I had such a delightful like text experience. So usually sometimes like, I'll book a car rental and then sometimes I'm like, oh man, maybe I want to drop this off to a different airport or maybe I want to like extend or what have you, right? So what was interesting was just like, even before they text me, right? Like the day before, right? I'm due to return. They're like, hey, we wanted to just confirm that you'll be dropping off your car tomorrow. If not, feel free to go into the app to make any modifications. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that was such, because typically I would have to like randomly remind myself, but I felt like it was such a nice like touch of just like, does everything look the same? Do you have what you need? And like, it's so wild because like at first, I think National and Alamo, like they're under the same umbrella, but it really actually like set them apart. I was like, oh, the attention to detail and like, I don't know, it's like those little things, but even just like the ease of like, hey, just want to close the loop. I think, you know what it is? I think sometimes people can be so focused on the pre-experience and not the like wrap up experience. So I think it was nice to see them consider that. So
I like that. That's a good one. And like these big brands should be getting it right. Like they spend a bunch of money on this. It like losing a customer is a big deal. That's great. I'm glad that you had that fun experience with National where they got to and like it probably, I don't know, it probably was a lot of work on their end, but it doesn't feel that hard, but it feels so natural when they get it right.
Oh yeah. It also was just like what was interesting was like it saved me a call. So typically the previous action would be I would call up and change instead of them just like pointing me in the right direction. So I think that's also goes into like a wider conversation of like using text to like route
Yeah.
you to the right place. Cause like I didn't know like, oh, you could actually I mean, sometimes I like to talk to a person, but I do think they made it a little easier and just like, here's the exact place to go to do what you need to do. So I didn't have to call somebody.
There you go.
So kind of worked out great, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Mine, I got two. One's very consumer, one's not.
Okay.
So, the company's based, I think they're based in Colorado. One of my favorite companies to get bags from is Topo. Bianca also likes Topo bags. She's a Topo bag fan. This was my old one that I've had for years. It's a little Topo briefcase. I just think it looks nice. And then this holiday season, my wife got me a bigger one for travel, which I'm super excited about. It opens really wide, fits under the seats. My laptop fits in like a pocket in the back. It's just going to be so good for travel. But that's the consumer one. The non-consumer one is a shout out to a service that I think most of us know about but don't think about, which is the Internet Archive, or like archive.org.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that I'm shouting that out specifically is a few weeks ago, like my I guess rabbi and spiritual teacher passed away, and I've been doing tech stuff with him for a while, like to help him out, and like I'm helping his family and stuff. And all of his classes are on archive.org. And it's just this amazing place that lets you host these kind of like community things that are now a resource in theory for the world. So I just like, I think it's really important that we have those kind of things out there, because like storage is pretty cheap. And I'm glad that there's places that let you kind of like host this and do that. So shout out to that, nonprofit for doing what they do, because I think it's in some ways important work to remember what's been going on in the world.
It's kind of interesting, especially given like it's so interesting, like even us talking about like the state of the internet and like cloud tech. So I'll be a nice, I'll bring that back up there. We underestimate kind of how these like tiny resources like can have major impact. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Are you staying hydrated with a tea?
I don't have tea today. I already drank a lot of tea. I have my Topo Nalgene though, just because
okay.
We gotta
Topo,
really hit it on every front.
Topo everywhere. I will say Topo, if you do want to, I am a Topo fan. That bag has lasted me years.
The bags are super well made. There's 3 stores within a few miles of me. So when you come visit Denver, you can go to the flagship store or any of the other ones. But anyways, is the cake ready? Is the cake ready? Should we get somebody to pop out of the cake? Are we about ready? Yeah. Okay. I'm seeing it. Well, welcome, Andrew. We're happy to have you back here.
Please say you're hearing the applause. Yes. All right, we're there. I couldn't deliver cake, but I could deliver an audience who was just so excited for me to be here.
Yeah.
How's it going? Happy
How are you?
Tuesday. That is also a Monday.
Yeah, it's a Tuesday, Monday. So really serious question. Have you worn those glasses on stream yet? Or are those like new ones, or are those older ones?
No,
it's kind of wild that you have Twilio red glasses at the moment.
So I will say this was like my entire personality was red glasses for a very long time. And then I upgraded to have just like glasses of multiple colors become my personality. So no, I'm like harkening back. No, when I got these, the long story is I was leaving an employer and I'd been there for a long time. And I was like, I'm going to totally like use all of the benefits that I have never used over like the 8 years I've lived here. And I couldn't figure out how to use any of them except for the glasses ones. And I went and got my eyes tested. And then I found this online company, I Buy Direct, and they were like the only company that had red glasses to replace my original red glasses that I was getting. And then they also had yellow and green and purple. And I was like, all right, so I guess that's just my entire personality now is glasses colors.
You know who else has that same personality?
Who's that?
My grandmother.
Let's go. Let's go.
She's the coolest though. She
Hashtag twins. Hashtag
growing
twinsies.
up, Grandma Ivy worked at a candy store. I don't know if there's a better place for grandma to work. Like you'd be walking around town, you'd go into the local candy store, and you would just get a bag of candy. And it wasn't like your mom had to go buy it for you. Like, your grandma just handed you a bag of candy.
It is like, that is smart. Like direct, because like grandmas always have candy. Like if there's something that they will have, like, and it's not just your own grandma, it's even the church grandmas. It is any grandma. They all have candy. So like, so starting it at the source of just like, let's just like, work at a candy shop.
But it wasn't just like, oh, I was getting like a, you know, a Werther's, right? Or like a coffee C's. There was good stuff. Like there were these penguins, these gummy penguins that were peach flavored.
Yeah. 100%. Penny candies were a thing where we're all of the age that you could still go to like a store with like your physical penny. Was this a thing outside of Canada? I feel like you used to be able to go in with a bag of pennies and just like buy individual candies, and you would like.
Maybe this was like the candy store with like all the jars where they would like scoop it out for you. Yeah. It was you know, good days. Good days. These were, I'm going to show you, these were my favorites. The peach penguins. There were little penguins that were peach flavored. There was also little Coke bottles that were Coca-Cola flavored. That was a little fun.
Classic.
But,
classic.
Yeah.
These are good. These are,
do that. There you go.
You know, gotta.
Ooh.
Oh gosh,
Yeah,
I remember those.
Yeah.
I remember those. Okay.
Those were
The
good
peachy
Yeah.
penguins. Aww.
ones. So more sponsored, not sponsored. Peach penguins.
Yeah, we're just on a kick today.
Yeah.
We're just,
anything you want to share before we jump in?
My favorite candy. I mean,
sure.
Ooh, like let's go.
These aren't my favorite. These are my favorite childhood. I want to be.
So I will say I really love the Smarties v Rockets debate that always happens around Halloween. So I don't know if you guys know this, but y'all in the US have like the those like little kind of chalk like little candy things that y'all call Smarties. So we call those Rockets in Canada, and I love Rockets. They're amazing. But I also love Smarties, and Smarties are like M&Ms, but like not. Yeah, there we go. That's it. There's like whole Wikipedia pages dedicated to these.
But what are Rockets? It's the same thing. It's just
Rockets Rockets in Canada are to Smarties in the US. They're exactly the same thing with a different label, but then
like
we call
it says Rockets instead of Smarties. Right?
Exactly, 100%. And then we call Smarties like no-name brand M&Ms, basically.
Got it.
So I'm a big fan, big Rocket fan, big M&M fan.
Got it.
Big Smarties fan.
Yeah, I haven't had those in a minute, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Really? I mean,
the best.
Y'all did y'all have the Popeyes, like those like little Popeyes fake candy sticks that you pretended were cigarettes? Do you not remember those? Is that not a thing where you were?
Yeah.
The only thing with the Smarties that was fun was like the little dispenser things, the little.
That's Pez.
The Pez.
They're
it's all
similar.
the.
Pez and Smarties are similar.
They're all. It's all the same.
You just reminded me of something weird, which was going to camp every summer in Wisconsin. You'd go to these like giant fudge and candy stores when you like got to go into town, and you'd always buy a giant jump breaker. And I'm talking like basically a pool ball, like a pool table ball that you could like suck on, and it would take you months.
But
like,
people made it
like
their
weeks.
People made it their personality.
But
it was like
and like at camp, everyone would like have these things that they'd be like running around just like looking. It was so unsanitary.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Put it in your pocket when you were done with it. Like you never actually stored it anywhere appropriate. It was just like around for you to grab for a little like late evening snack.
Yeah. And it was like, but it was like then you just had candy forever.
Candy forever.
Yeah, like those things.
Yeah, those were, that was a moment. Yeah. You know, wow. Our
candy nostalgia. Who knew we were going down this road?
So, we did not. That was not the direction I thought, but we are.
I got one more. So y'all know Hershey, Pennsylvania, and you know like the Hershey like company is like from.
We used
Hershey.
to go there. I used to go there a ton.
So Hershey's had like one factory in Canada, and it was in Smiths Falls, Ontario, which is right near where I lived. And the best thing to do is you would go and tour the Hershey factory, and then they sold all of the like broken bits of bars and stuff like that you could buy for like super, super cheap. And so you would walk out with just like this massive bag of like the like off-cast chocolate that was like probably $100 that you got for like $5. Yeah. And it was just absolutely unnecessary. But it's good. Funny.
Yeah. RJ, I agree. Milk Duds are great.
Oh yeah. 100%. Yeah. 100%. But it's funny. So they left, Hershey left Canada. Can you guess what they turned the Hershey factory into in Canada? What do you think it became? And keep in mind, this was like, it's something that Canada got known for in sort of like the early 2000s, 2010s when it became legal.
Oh, it's gotta be a leafy green dispensary of some sort.
A leafy green dispensary. It wasn't a dispensary. It was like a factory, like the company where they actually grew and produced it and sent it out. But what's crazy is that business went out of business. Guess what's going back into the same space?
Chocolate.
Hershey's moving back.
Oh.
Chocolate.
It's all full circle.
Chocolate and herbs.
There was chocolate and herbs. Yeah, there's a lot of overlap there. There's a chocolate factory for Chicago's is like a lot. It's like candy headquarters. Like Trolley is all made in Chicago. So like Wrigley started there. And like, so there's all this candy stuff in Chicago. And there's also this one chocolate factory right outside of downtown, like prime real estate downtown. And the weirdest thing is, depending on the wind in the given day, parts of the city would just smell like chocolate, and it was so nice.
It's a good marketing.
Right. I'd be like, because I biked right by this factory on my way home from work, and I would maybe a third of the time it would just like reek of chocolate, and I'd be like, this is great. This is
good. This is funny to me. This was not the direction I thought. We went down a little rabbit hole. I think it's just, an invitation for what we might have going on today. So the other thing we had kind of started to kick off talking about it, but Andrew, you had shared some news about like just like funding, but then I think it kind of started us thinking about like cloud tech, state of the internet. First we'll start with what was it?
Render, right?
Render. Render
some money.
Just raised their Series C. If you don't know who Render is, they are a sort of like, if you knew what Heroku was, they are the my voice is doubling. I think. Is it?
I don't know. I'm not.
It was.
Okay. So if you don't know what Render is, they're sort of like an alternative to Heroku that kind of came. I mean, I think they've been around for a while, but yeah. So they've been growing slowly and like $80 million, and really focused on sort of like that developer experience of deploying applications. And they're super, super smooth and clean. Like I remember I did a run through for a previous company many years ago where I like went through and wrote a blog post on reviewing them, and like a couple members of their DevRel team like showed up to the stream and then were like, hey, we'd love to like connect with you about like what could improve. And I was like, dang, you all are watching for like tiny little people doing stuff with your platform. That's pretty incredible.
That is cool. I love a good DevRel story like that where it's related. Yeah, I feel like when I was doing my startups, like my entire life, like everything ran on Heroku. Sorry if you can hear my child in the background. She's having a hard time napping right now.
I was just like, is she okay? Is the child okay?
My wife is with her. She just really doesn't want to nap, and that makes life hard for everybody, including Stream. So Stream, meet Isla. She's in the other room. I think she just wants to be on, but unfortunately.
That's real. No, that's real.
No, there was another one, Andrew, that you mentioned that you really like too.
Ooh, so I'm a big fan, and it's because it's got a like West Coast Canada connection. So there's another startup called Railway, and so Railway, very similar to Render, and kind of came out at the same time. I just really like the Railway DX. Like it's very, I don't know, I kind of put it in like Notion World, or well, not Notion. What's the other one that like you download onto your device, and then it got really, really popular for like note taking, and it has like a sync that you pay for. Oh my goodness, starts with a D, I'm pretty sure. What is the name of it? I'm going to find this out. But anyways, the setup of Railway is just really, really smooth and clean, and it's really visual. So you kind of get like this flow chart of things you're spinning up, integrates really well with Git, like such a smooth process. And they did a really good job with, whereas, do you guys remember with Heroku, you basically had that like deploy with Heroku button that you would like add into your readmes. So I think Render does it as well, but Railway did a really good job at integrating that process. And so you can actually go when you deploy a project in Railway, and they have a bunch of templates that are just like set up that are based on like open source projects that are out there. So yeah.
I love how they all have the same color scheme.
Well,
like
yeah,
these websites look really similar.
Well, it's just the brand of building. You got to have a little purple in there.
Purple means build.
But yeah, duh. You know, what's interesting though is, I think when I had seen the press release, I think there's like should be a link. It's always so interesting to see like the trends, like what are people betting on? Like what are folks betting on in terms of just like what they're seeing as the future? And it's like one thing that came up. Let me see if I could.
I agree, Brent. Heroku does look really corporate now.
It's fair. Oh yeah, it does look pretty corporate. Well, it does say from Salesforce.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it.
Let me see. Let me send you a link, Alex. Let's see. Okay, so when I was looking at let's see, do we have a link?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, one moment. I just put it in the wrong spot.
Oh, all good.
Oh, nope. There we go.
Cool. Okay, cool. So one thing that's interesting here is like, it's, developers it's back. Everyone's like, let's build. And then they're like, oh shoot, what are the right developer tools for this era, right, of building? And I think it's kind of interesting, like what they're betting on. And if you like slide down a little bit, just kind of like, okay, what are the advantages of like what they're trying to do? And it's just so interesting, which is like, how do we make it easy for people to build? And I think like over the next couple of years, I do think we are going to see a lot more developer tools, because I don't know, I think there is an excitement around building, right? Like I think people are feeling like, okay, how software may have been built previously, like it spoke to some set of needs, but I do think we might see kind of this like revival of like building, like really, I don't know. Curious your thoughts, folks.
According to Brent, we never went away.
Well, that too.
True.
But I think okay, it's not like I'm saying like, oh, hey, developers. I think the spotlight being back. Okay, I think as members of the ecosystem, I think folks kind of forgot that like you still have to support a culture of building, right? I think there was an excitement around building for an era, and then it was just like, money, and then now it's like, okay, let's pull stuff again.
I think it shifted when we went away from the zero interest rate thing, because I think when we were at zero interest rate, it was really easy to be like startups, builders, people doing stuff like that's a market. And then all of a sudden, a lot of the funding, a lot of the money there dried up, and you started to focus more on how you go after the paying customers, which are usually bigger corporate clients, and some of the like indie developers and the startups and things kind of just stop being the target. I think it's coming full circle. I think we're getting back to that world now.
True.
At least internally we are.
Yeah. And I feel like there's also this world of like when you, especially in the corporate world, some corporate jargon for everybody out there. Everybody wants to build an ICP, right? An ideal customer profile. And like developers are not a monolith. Like you can have a developer that's like a mom of three that goes and builds things after work. You can have a developer that's like doing like that is like a construction worker who just, I don't know, like on their lunch break is like building apps. I don't know. I just feel like there is no like set, like there's no set version of a developer. And so it's really hard. Like, how do you build campaigns and how do you build things that attract this like broad audience, right? And yet there are ways to do it. And the way to do it is to like make people's lives easier. Every developer wants their life to be easier.
For sure. It actually makes me think, I joke, one of our team members who's just such a rock star is Carly. And Carly came over as somebody, she started off doing like event management and stuff like that for us. And now she just does so much on our team. And I joke that on our team, and this is a team that includes the three of us and Brent and a bunch of other people who like have written code for a living. She's the number one developer. She's the most active developer because she's constantly, it's a lot of it's Airtable, which is beautiful that they've created this tool where you don't need to be like a full-on coder to make these apps, but she is constantly building things to make it easier for everybody to operate and keep track of things. And it's like, it just reminds me of like that builder profile isn't just, you know, the dude in the hoodie, like Bianca right now, sitting in a dark room with
Shots
their,
fired.
with their
Okay, still not. It's not. I was
light
dark.
up keyboards, you know, going after the, you know, hacking the mainframe. Like builder means so much more. And you're right. It's like there's so many different. It's not a monolith, and I really appreciate it.
No, I love that language of like builder means so much more. And I think that's also, I think maybe how folks are approaching developer tools, which is like, how do we help you solve problems easier versus how do we help you, I think like before, like, yeah, how do we help you solve these like large scale problems? Because even when I'm looking at this and kind of what they're betting on render to do, kind of rapid deployment, like scalability with that, like how do I allow you to solve your problems at scale? And I don't know, I think, you know, before it wasn't necessarily focused on the like post, it was just like, just get this up and running, like just create the MVP versus I think even just like how even the evolution of like developer tools is like moving around. So it's kind of interesting to think about like how we're, you know, supporting the internet, right?
Yeah.
And then
I think it's also switched to, I read I can't remember whose book it was, but it used to be that MVP stood for minimum viable product.
yeah.
And now it's minimum valuable product. It's like, what is the actual value that you're providing with this thing?
I've heard another one.
Ooh,
I've heard something called minimum lovable product.
Oh, I love that better. Yes.
Yeah, that's
I like
what
that better.
I had an internal PM say minimum lovable product, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
No, that's good. You see, we all stopped and we're like, wow, it just touched the heart. So, okay. So no, this is exciting stuff. I think we're going to stay tuned and follow what the internet does. It's a good time to be building. We'll report back over time. So I'm curious. So today, as you know, we brought Andrew on. So can you give us a brief?
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Before you do into that, Andrew, I'm just going to say I need to step away for a moment and make sure everything's good with my baby. I will be back on stream in a minute, but I'm trusting you two to handle things.
I think we'll be fine. You know, we have a backup A, so we have two A's. We have two A's. We do, but it's like double A. But we got you. So Andrew, so I am kind of curious in terms of just like what brought this show to life? What was the inspiration behind the show? And then you can maybe even add like your elevator pitch of just like how would you intro it? So like, yeah, give us a little bit of backstory.
All right. So on the wall behind the camera, which none of you can see, I have a very expensive set of wallpaper. They are the many, many degrees that I have pursued over the years, because who needs to stop with just one? And my first degree actually was in forensic science. So like my kind of plan back in the day was I wanted to be sort of the crime scene investigator, the one that like digs through to like find the like DNA and then does all of this investigation stuff. And so like over the years, I found myself, even though I didn't pursue that, I've like gone down the pathway so many times with different projects of like, why is this happening to be a lot of like investigation-y stuff or like diving deep into something? And then I realized just because I enjoy the process of like solving problems, but also like puzzles in some way. And I don't know why years ago when I heard about the bacon number, I hadn't put these two together of why the bacon number was so fascinating to me in the way my brain works. But I realized that ultimately the bacon number, and I'll explain what that is for people that don't know, is so directly correlated because it's like this dive, it's this deep dive and like exploration and like you're kind of uncovering, like lifting up rocks and looking for things. So really the inspiration was like, I wanted to take sort of my love of doing that. And I also wanted to take my sort of like pop culture piece and mash them together into a new stream that I could do live here on Twilio TV. So here's the concept. So the bacon number is a thing that Kevin Bacon has nothing to do with, but at a core level, there's like a game, and I think it was like created by radio hosts or something.
He also has everything to do with it.
He does. Called 6 Degrees to Kevin Bacon. And the concept here is that anybody in the world that you can choose or anything in the world is only separated by 6 degrees from Kevin Bacon. And so your bacon number is how far away from Kevin Bacon you are. So like if you literally met Kevin Bacon, like at an event, your bacon number would be like 0. Like there's no degrees of separate. Like you met 1? Kevin Bacon. I mean, I don't know. I guess so. I would kind of count that as like you're at Kevin Bacon. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. This was like, like a parlor game. And oh my God, there's a website for it too. Is there? Oh no, that's for something separate. But like this concept here of like how many degrees are things separated from Kevin Bacon. When I was like pitching shows, I was like, Twilio's been around forever. Like Twilio's like a 16-year-old company. And like, it's the underlying infrastructure for so many things. And I was like, what if we kind of did this like live deep dive, engaging with y'all in chat, where we choose a random technology and then live, we kind of like dig into the source code if it's available, dig into dev tools. Let's look at some network calls that are happening. Let's look into like the header and see the libraries that are being called. And let's just kind of see how far you need to go until you find Twilio under the surface of some of these tools. What is this?
This is what Brent just shared, the Oracle of Bacon.
Oh, I love that. This is...
It looks like, and then I was reading the origin story, it looks like he said in an interview that he has worked with everyone in Hollywood or someone who's worked with them. So he basically was like, I've basically just been everywhere. And then these 3 college students invented a game that became known as 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
It's
yeah.
No, that's pretty cool. I think it's kind of interesting because it's like, whenever you're like, well, where do you work? Twilio. Oh, Twilio. What's that? And it's like, trust me, we're probably, I was like, we're probably connected to something you don't even know we're connected to. For a while, I would just like use the kind of, those text messages that you get from da 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 da. We're probably behind it some way, right? Yeah. So, I think
I like that it premiered on the Jon Stewart show.
God, I love that. Classic Jon Stewart. Classic Jon Stewart.
So
I love
Chef Brent has a good one because his goes through Tony Hawk. Which is always a fun one.
Just Tony Hawk, Tony Hawk. But see, that's
from YouTube, as in like you specifically or Twilio. Oh, I don't know what they're asking. Sorry, different thing. I thought that was a question for this. Never mind. But yeah. Someone had a really random question about integrating OpenAI's. I don't know if this is quite on topic here.
That's all right. We're here.
Bring OpenAI's real-time API into Twilio. How would you handle function calling? So yes, we are familiar with that. You can actually go back. We'll find the stream where we did it. We did it on stream a few weeks ago. So
that's
thanks,
cool.
Sean,
full
for
circle.
your comment. Because full circle.
It's kind of full circle.
In November, December, we did that on stream, and we have some blog posts with that. It's you do it using WebSockets. So that's the key bit of technology that you need to connect the two because it needs to be in an ongoing stream. So we'll keep talking and we'll throw some of those links in chat. Yeah, do.
I love it. Also, I do want to call out Tofrog. Yes, in the tech world, 16 years is a very long time. Like really, how old is I mean, you look at like Facebook, and Facebook is what, like 25 years old now? Something like that.
Yeah.
Like we're getting up there. We're like senior citizens of the tech industry. We're getting close.
I think what's wild is like seeing some of these companies when I was like, I knew you when you were just a little baby, when your stock price was $17 and now it's just, you're grown.
At one point, my cousin was bragging because like, I don't know if it's still this way, but on Facebook, it used to tell you like your number, like you used to have a number at the top, and his was like only 4 digits long on Facebook or something like that, because he like happened to be at Harvard when it was formed. And I was like, well, you're bragging. Yeah.
I think it's just been so wild. It's like you see all the different iterations of like, oh my gosh, like this little company. I remember when you were just a little idea, and now you're grown. Now you have shareholders.
And now there's like different iterations of the same product, right? Like Vine disappears for TikTok to take its place, and like TikTok disappeared and then came back, and so nothing took its place yet. It took its own place.
But then now everyone's like, oh, video, and now everyone's like, we're gonna build something else. I was like, ooh, it's getting spicy in the internet world. So yeah, I think it's so funny because like people were talking about like, oh well, TikTok, and what was so funny was just like you had MySpace, and you had Friendster, you had there was just so much. You had Friendster, you had MySpace, you had Facebook, you had Vine, you had Tumblr, you had like, there's just like so much stuff, and just kind of seeing the like, the rise and journey.
Rise and fall. I love that we're naming all these things. And yeah, Toe Frog, I had a similar situation. I ran into somebody who was celebrating their 20th birthday, and I was like, oh, That's got wild. So much life. You got so much life coming ahead of you. Yeah, I love it. But for the tech world, if somebody turns 20, you're like, dang, you have survived a minute. Especially with people that have been with the same companies for 20 years. And there's a lot of people at Twitter.
I call Brent old every now and then. I was like, ooh, I was like, Brent, you've been here for a minute, JK, don't pull the show plug on me. No, Brent trolls me too, y'all.
Oh, no, I'm kidding.
Oh my God, that was amazing.
That was me, not Brent, but I just thought it'd be funny.
Oh, that was the best.
I was like, oh my gosh.
I couldn't help myself. Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
Okay, so now we have the intro. So what can people expect from this show, right? Like, how should they feel after the show?
How should you feel? What's it gonna taste like?
You feel, what does it taste like? I feel like a birthday cake. I feel like it should taste I feel like it should taste like a birthday cake. I don't know. What would a deep, well, I feel like I'm talking about like lifting up rocks. I'm like, does it taste like worms? Does it taste like, I feel like that's not what we're looking for. I don't know what it tastes. Y'all are gonna have to tell me. We're gonna do a pilot today, and you're gonna tell me how it tastes. Because really, this is all about you here that is in chat. Like chat, you are gonna help define this. And if chat's not diving into things, we're just gonna choose a random product somewhere and deep dive. We're gonna see. Honestly, I hope that I really am, as much as I want to highlight how Twilio is out there, I feel like people forget how many underlying technologies there are in like every tool that's out there, be it like third-party libraries in open source projects, be it just like, I don't know, maybe an analytics tool that like you didn't even know was being used, and then you discover it and you can kind of learn about other things. So I'm hoping that you're going to discover not only tools that use Twilio that you didn't know about before, but I'm also hoping you discover tools that you didn't know about, whether they're using Twilio or not. And then I have a feeling that like everything's got a Twilio number too. I like have this feeling that it's not going to be a big number. It may only be like 4 degrees to Twilio. We're going to find out.
So many packages that just like everyone uses. I think we don't always realize that. And I think it's like at some point, we've all NPM installed the same thing.
Yeah. 100%.
Sorry that my chat didn't poll in the same way, but I'm just going to give the other shout out. If you want to learn more about OpenAI real time, you can go to the Twilio's blog and just search OpenAI real time, or go to our Twilio Devs YouTube channel and search that way, because there's a few different videos and blog posts about that. I tried to include some, but it's a messy chat, so I apologize for that. I guess they're clickable in stream in Twitch at least, but
I love it.
anyways.
I do also, before we actually get into our dive, and I think where we're going to start for today, unless chat has some thoughts, I also just want to make an announcement to the internet, just in case this will help this show get picked up. Not this show, because I feel like 7 degrees, 6 degrees to Twilio, 100% this is going to get picked up for the season. But if you watch Build a Blog or Blog the Build, yeah, y'all are the executives though, and Brett behind the scenes. For Blog the Builder or Build a Blog, name TBD, my good friend Rashab is going to be joining me as my co-host if that gets picked up. And so I may also have some other co-hosts because Rashab travels a lot. And so he's going to maybe pop in for a few things, but stay tuned for that. So if that's going to, if Andrew is not enough, but Rashab will get me over the finish line, you just need to let me know. I'll also take any evangelist that will get me over the line. Just chat. Let us know.
Rashab is a friend of the stream. Rashab was when I went on vacation over the summer, Rashab took over for me.
Hey, there you go. So that'll get me in.
BR testing for a minute. But Rashab is great. I'm so excited. He's doing that with you. And I'll come on every once in a while. I'm happy to do that. Blogging things is, building blogs is always fun. So
I love it.
Yeah.
Amazing. So folks that are in chat, I want to give you a minute here to come up with some things that you would like to find out. What is the Twilio number? And I feel like there's a fun pun thing there, Twilio number. And we're like a phone number company. What is your Twilio number?
Hopefully none of them are 10 digits though.
Yeah. Put in chat if you have a tool or company that you'd like to find out the Twilio number for. I think it makes a lot of sense to actually start with render.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. So I'm going to get my
start with render, and we're open to suggestions. So give us more suggestions as we go.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me share my screen. Entire screen. This guy. All right. And you can add, I think so, yeah. Sweet. All right, look at all my meetings up there. I love it. You can give you a little background. No, this is good. I want you to know things that are coming down the pipeline. Okay, so let's head over to render.com. And this is good because it's going to mean like I'm having to sign up for a new platform all the time on my corporate account, which is always fun. I think I got my personal on here.
It's so interesting that yours is in light mode and mine was in dark mode.
I love light mode unless like I'm in a desperate dark mode mood. Like the only thing I will not use in light mode is Discord because people shamed me for that once.
So do you code in light mode?
I actually don't mind coding in light mode, but no, like almost everything that I do, like that's like super like true developer-y things I would do in light mode or in dark mode. But like my average interactions with things are almost always in light mode.
Okay.
So I'm a light mode. I'm anti-modus.
I'm gonna ask Brent when he gets a chance to comment on that. I believe that from a video standpoint, light mode looks better, which is kind of a little counterproductive or counterintuitive because we all love dark mode as developers. So I think something to think about.
All right. So this is good. I actually don't need to I can just use my GitHub account, which is good. I actually already have a render account set up from many moons ago. Let's see what's going on in here. Oh, I thought I did. Apparently I did not. Maybe I deleted my render account. Oh, it does exist. Okay, good. That's what I thought. I was like, I'm pretty sure that this exists already.
It's a rendering thing. Speaking of render. By the way, I want to circle back on something that was very important. I just learned using the Oracle of Bacon website that Tony Hawk has a bacon number of 2, which would give Brent Schooley a bacon number of 3.
Ooh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, you're gonna have to help me figure that out. Okay, I understand. I didn't sign in with GitHub when I did this before. So now I need to actually log in. So I'm gonna pull this off screen for a second. You can look at another cool platform that I'm gonna talk about a little bit later on. But I'm gonna go and grab my 1Password so that I can log into Render. But you're not going to see it on my screen. Wha-cha-cha. Like a ninja to get that 1Password off screen. All right. What is my render password? I don't have a render password. Forget that. All right. We're going to go in here, sign in, and maybe try my Google. There we go. Let's see. Did I sign up with Google
we're
before?
We're going to go like this for a minute because
no, it's okay.
We can sing
All
our
right.
credentials song.
No, it's okay. I'm okay. If people want to reach out to my personal email, there's so much junk in there anyways that it is, you're not going to do anything wrong. Anyways, we're in here. So here we are in render. This is in the dashboard. So you can see lots of stuff in here. You can set up static sites, web services, some Redis caches, Postgres. We don't actually really care about this unless we do. Maybe there's Twilio hidden in one of these. Maybe Twilio is hidden somewhere in here. I feel like to see if this is the first, if this is like a 1 degree to Twilio, it would need to be like something that's like a direct integration, right? Does that make sense?
Like if you could click a button and be like, Twilio's on here.
Yeah, I feel like that makes sense. Okay, so let's just like search Twilio. I wonder, maybe SendGrid? I wonder. No, so we're not getting SendGrid. Segment? Okay, so no direct integrations there, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to let that stop us. Static sites, configure, deploy.
You could cheat and everything is you could zap your 2 degrees.
There you go.
But I think I like looking in the back a little bit more.
Yeah,
I think Zapier is like a little bit of a not quite the Ray.
So we've got like there's nothing in here that's kind of popping up right now, like service types. There's no like 1 degree right now in terms of like the actual interaction.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is kind of our telling sign. And you couldn't sign in with Twilio. If you could sign, we don't actually have. I don't think you can sign in with Twilio anywhere. No. But yeah. So okay. So we're not 1 degree. So let's jump into maybe not into source code, but let's actually go into inspect mode. All right. So
but this is their website. Is there like? Oh, I guess you couldn't like look at what packages were built unless you were like, you could look on GitHub for their stuff.
So you can, they're not open source. So yeah, I will say like open source projects will make this easier, but I think you can get a little bit of information from like network calls that are being made and sources. I feel like sources is also really beneficial. You're kind of getting microservices that are being used in here. So like, you're not always going to get the things, but I don't know. I mean, we're 2 degrees. Mm-hmm. Done. If you could not see that, by the way.
Yep.
Whoa.
Right there. Done. I mean, that was too easy.
You just pulled that from like their inspecting. Wow.
Yeah. So, and this is useful for anybody. If you're ever like, oh, what's going on in here? And like, you can see if you go into like network and you can, if you just like, clear it and then refresh the page, like it'll show you all the calls that are being made in here. And so like there's like GraphQL calls and these third-party ones. I always like looking at sources though, because then you can actually go in and then it'll give you like the cloud sources that it's pulling in from. So like whatever these are, but yeah, like right there, like that's a pretty high Twilio number. Like we're
so
right
they're just
there.
using Segment.
Yeah, they're just using Segment. So like, I don't know. Yeah, like so if they're just using Segment, but I would say that still counts. Like that counts as a high.
One Twilio, man.
I feel like we're gonna have a lot of ones here.
Well, this is
it, so then you can make it a little challenging, right? Like if it's like it could be multiple Twilio tools and products, so then that give it like a higher.
I like
thing.
that.
So like, yeah, I'm just curious. Like, if you didn't find Segment right here, how would
so then we'd have to keep digging. Okay, so here's the thing. So let's say Segment wasn't here. Let's just say Segment goes bye-bye. Can we make Segment disappear here? Go away, Segment. I don't want you here right now. Search in all files. No. So what I would say, let's say we dug through here and we're going into snippets and like we're actually going into like the source code for like the dashboard here, and we're not kind of seeing anything being called in here. Then I would say we're going to go in here and we're going to start looking at some of the other things that are being called in here. So let's go into our let's refresh our page again. Go into our sources page, workspace overrides, and maybe we would go in here and look at like, all right, Stripe. So we're going to go like, this is using Stripe. Is Stripe using Twilio? So now we're going to keep going down the pipeline of like, let's go down the next thing that's in here. And so I feel like there's different ways you can go. Like open source, I feel like you can go so much deeper here because you can like go into the code.
Yeah.
But let's see. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Render does have some. I feel like Render probably does have some like open source stuff on GitHub.
Yeah, I was thinking like the other ways. I'm pretty sure there's a direct Twilio HubSpot integration, and it's like that. And I saw that on their background.
ChatGPT retrieval plugin. What else we got here? Postmark stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we could find stuff in here. But I mean, we kind of got there. Like we got one. Like, is other Twilio stuff being used in here? That's the question. And like, how can we actually dig in to like what's appearing on each of these pages? Like, this is going to be one of the things that's going to be a lot tougher when you're doing these things. So you're kind of relying in a big way here on like the calls that are happening within the application, or if you're kind of going through the process to see it. So maybe the next step would actually be going in here and seeing, is there a phone number set up in here?
I think what's okay so far, what's coming off from this show. This is so funny. I feel like we're on like American Idol, but for stream shows. You're like, so what comes to mind initially is kind of like, really, how do you build, right? Like kind of getting into like the pieces of building. So I think like there's probably an aspect of this show that's like, yes, how many degrees to Twilio? But I think in the process, really understanding how are people building things at scale in some ways. So that's like an initial thought that came.
I love it.
This reminds me a little bit of how like I feel like at one point mid 2000s or maybe early 2010s Tofrog saying don't dox yourself. There was like everyone was using Bootstrap. Like
oh my
every
gosh,
web
yes.
page you could be like, oh, this is Bootstrap, like it's the same round, but like everything was the same. It's not quite that anymore, but like there's still stuff here, like a lot of people use HubSpot and a lot of people use Segment and things like that.
RJ Pearson.
Ooh,
I love this idea, and you want to
like
know? I'm gonna crack. Okay, this is cracking me up. So,
I liked it.
I am telling on my nephew, but so my nephew basically built out his school's website. He got a bad grade, and he literally just recreated a website. So when you said that, that's what that made me think about, which is how my nephew literally rebuilt his whole school's application for grades and stuff. But his mom figured it out because she's like a principal. But I think that's actually I kind of like that, which is like how close could you get to building something? So I think this could be like a two-parter of just like discover and build, you know? So I think that could be a thing. I love how we're
That's what this is. That's what these pitches are about, right? It's like the live experience of going out and figuring what these shows are about. Yeah. So what I want to do, okay, so like I'm going to give Render right now. It's going to be, you're not wrong. Is like right now we've got a pretty low Twilio number, which is great. Segment is going to be a lot of the things that we find. So I feel like the kind of next logical step here for me would be like, let's go into kind of some of the lesser known sources, things that we're using in here. Are there any of these that people that are in chat? I have never heard of Mad Kudu. Does anybody have any idea what this is?
No, I haven't heard of it.
I'm
not a guru on this stuff though.
I have no idea. Okay, so it's some jQuery. Is this like an actual product, or is this something that like they have created?
It's a selling tool.
Mad Kudu.
I'm going on their website. Translate buyer signals into action to generate more pipeline.
Oh, there you go. Score your buyers with explainable AI, signals-based prospecting playbooks. Okay, so like they're using data to like figure out who they want to sell to. That kind of tracks for a lot of people. Ooh, this would be like an even lesser degree if Twilio was like listed as one of these like on the main page or not.
Yeah, I feel like on the main page you're almost going to always find one that overlaps. Like,
oh yeah,
one of these has to be our customer, but I'm not sure.
100%. All right. So like we got Mad Kudu. They're not open source, so we're not going to be able to dig very far in. Let's look at, let's kind of look and see what we got going on in here. I feel like there's not going to be a lot going on
I do like these side quests though, of just like, because I think on the 6 degrees, I think it's also the other pieces of what are we discovering, right? So even just like all these random sites that go into how people are building their stuff. So I think there might be there's like some side quests on the.
And RJ had a good question. Why would you use that instead of segments? So the segment is a little bit more of like a segment can do a lot of things, but maybe Mad Kudo can do other things on top of segment. What I'm more curious about is why, if they're using segment, they don't use segment to send the data to Mad Kudu, why they put it straight in. So I think that's kind of another question, because in theory, you can use segment and then tell segment to go to HubSpot and Mad Kudu and all these other things, but maybe there's not that integration, or maybe it's not advertised. I don't know. It's that's a good question.
It is.
Yeah.
I also think sometimes people don't know the fullness of capabilities. So like, I think which can, so then they'll kind of piece things together.
So I feel like I really want to call this out. This is such a wild name for like a CDN site. prod.website-files.com. That can't be a legitimate, this can't be a legitimate site that is out there. There's no way that somebody has a site that they call website-files.com. Good. Of course it can't be reached. That's terrible. I wonder, I don't know. That one seems odd to me though. Maybe that's just me. What do we got going on in here? So we got a bunch of things. We got snap. A bunch of CDN stuff. That's a lot of scripts in your head. Dang. Just keeps going. Holy moly. That's a lot of analytic stuff too.
It's so interesting because it's like on their main on their main pages, just lots of
this is just like a marketing page too. Amplitude.
But I do feel like at that point though, it's like
it's a marketing company. They've got everything on there for themselves.
Yeah.
I did a little research. I think the website-files is a Webflow property. Which is more than a website builder if you look at their website.
Okay. I dig this. All right. So again, Mad Kudu segment. It's right there. It's like in the header scripts. They're using segment. Done. We got we're nothing's gonna have any larger than a there we go. Awesome. Stephen Nick.
Yeah, he found it too.
I love it. Okay, so we got some
another way to use these things is Whois, and almost every Whois is probably going to have some domain registrar, which would be another way to find things. Like the Whois for website-files is through Cloudflare, which we know has direct integrations to Twilio.
Hey, everything's got a Twilio. Man, the entire internet is connected to Twilio by no degrees of separation. I
feel like the entire internet's connected.
That is, well, golly gee. It's it is very connected, because I mean one thing is not going to have all the capability, all the capabilities that you might need. So
Chef Brent thought the internet was a series of tubes.
It is. That's very much exactly what it is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Webflow was where things are. Let's see what Webflow's got going on. Let's see if Webflow has got a good Twilio number. So are we a client in here anywhere? I don't see us. TED, Dropbox, Orange Theory Fitness.
Probably not. I think this is their website builder, but they might have a integration.
They might have an integration. Let's see. Let's log in. Let's log in over here. Sign in with Google.
It was funny when you were saying the series of tubes. The coolest person I met was Vint Cerf. He came to do a good talk. But I was like, oh my gosh. So it's always, it's like the OGs of the internets.
I'm going to apologize for a little snafu with Brent. Brent should be producing, but I am clicking buttons in the back end. So anything is my fault. And when it looks good, it's Brent's fault. So.
And just to be clear, Alex took me off the screen. Brent and I
Because
do
it was
not.
such good comedic timing.
Brent and I do
Well
not
done.
have beef.
No, Brent's great.
See,
It's
let
chicken.
me not bring up the comment though. I don't need to bring up the comment again. Anyways, back to Andrew's exceptional site.
Andrew's exceptional. I love. You know what? Google gives you like really funny names for things, and Webflow knows the truth. Andrew's exceptional site. All right, let's see. Yeah, let's see if it's like if it's a direct integration. Do they have a Twilio? Bet you they have a. I bet you if I type in segment, it's going to be there. Ooh, I'm wrong.
I don't see it.
Unless they
Ooh,
have like
maybe-
an air. Do they have like an Airtable? SandGrid.
Airtable. No Airtable act. Oh, Power Importer. Like some import stuff, but like nothing directly in the marketplace. I wonder if there's anything like deeper in their marketplace.
I was looking at their paid and free apps, and I don't see Segment,
Interesting.
Twilio, or things. I mean, Zapier obviously you can use as a connector. HubSpot, I believe, has Twilio integrations.
I mean,
I think it's also interesting too though, like, you know, the why they would connect to, like, what part of your web experience would you be aside from like analytics or things like that. I think it might be interesting, like the different like the different industries or use cases of just like, oh, this person would probably use Twilio more than
yeah. It's
Yeah.
true, but yeah, you're looking at, okay, so Webflow, they're going to be sending out emails, right? Because they're going to need to get out to you, but how to access that? Do we have lookup, by the way, for emails? Like, can we tell if an email's come from SendGrid?
I don't think we have lookup for emails. There's an API that'll tell you if an email is valid.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Tofrog has a really great point too, which is
Mhm.
look for an integration that does communications, and we can see if they use Twilio under the hood.
Ooh,
That's always a
I
good
like
one.
that.
We got to be careful though, because we're like, some people aren't necessarily acknowledging that they're customers. So like we gotta figure out what's public and not. But
Mhm.
True.
that's why I
that.
kind of don't want to use like our internal systems. Like I don't want to
Yeah.
go look in our Salesforce. For this stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that makes sense. We can just like do the dig of like what is publicly accessible
Mhm.
that's in here. Cloud front stuff, like nothing showing up in. Oh no, segment.
It's there.
I love it's like 1 degree to segment and unsure of the number of degrees to Twilio, but like right there. Also, not sure if that's great to be including like segment API keys, like directly
agree.
in your source
They're
code.
right
agree.
in there.
Yeah. like,
Yes.
that's not ideal.
Yes, I'm like, this might also be a security show. Honestly, truly, we are 6 degrees of Chilio plus security, just a security audit of
I don't-
sorts of just
I
like,
don't love that. User ID unhashed. I mean, you got to be logged in. Maybe that's part of the thing, but like, yeah, AWS access key, segment access key, Stripe public key,
Could be
Datadog
domain left.
run.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Dang. That's like a
Yeah.
lot of keys to be in there.
So Andrew, maybe for the show, you also have a
Tickets that I create.
Oh, you can use NS lookup to check whether SendGrid is used for the domain.
Oh,
Because in theory, any SendGrid would have to be in their DNS.
why would I need segment API? Why would you need a segment API key in like a user account?
Wait, are you
Not-
trying to put yours in? No, it had
No, no, no.
theirs.
No, but it says like in here, there's like user ID and it gives like a plain text version of like my hashed user ID, my email is admin, and then it's like segment API key. So I don't know if that's like the public API key for it or what, but like,
this
That
is what I'm
weird. I mean,
yeah.
so the reason you'd use
Andrew,
segment
check
in this
your chat.
case is, oh, Brent's got something for you. Oh, that little hide link at the bottom of your screen there, Andrew. There's segment can like track actions, so they could be. I understand why they'd be using segment, but I don't know why they would like have the public API key
Yeah.
available there.
yeah, That's kind of what I'm saying. Like that seems like
I think they just didn't think that Andrew would be digging.
I mean,
their website.
No one's ever going to look for this.
No one is a developer that's using Webflow. Nobody goes into the source code. We are a WYSIWYG website. Webflow's hard to use, I will say. Like if you've never developed on Webflow, like it's not like a straightforward process. All right. So I would say that, so we got our degree to Webflow. I'm not going to touch Webflow anymore.
I feel like everything's 1 degree to segment. It's going to be interesting if we ignored segment, how long it would take to get to places.
Yeah, I feel that. All right, do we have let me see. I want to see what else is in here. We're on Mad Kudu. I want to go into here, but not this is render stuff. Let me close the render stuff down. I'm like nervous going into the Webflow stuff now. Like how deeply am I going to dox myself by going in and
these are things you have to ask yourself. I think, but what's good about this is that you're learning like even your flow. So it might be that like you might have to pull up the second screen before you know what though,
I feel like I just need to accept that I might need to delete my existing email accounts after every stream. All right, what do we got here? Okay, so I mean we could have also found, I'm sure, the segment thing in here. Yeah. It's right here. But let's see if there's some other things that we haven't necessarily seen before. Okay, Stripe we know about. What's Birdie? Isn't Birdie like a,
I think, is Birdie a competitor?
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Message Bird is a competitor.
I think Birdie might be a competitor as well. Is it? Help desk software. So technically they could use Flex for this.
Yeah.
I love how this is like, all right, here's a report, Birdie. Not Birdie. What is it? What was the first one? I don't even know where we came from.
Wait, I just RJ Pearson just dropped a sick burn on Chef Brent about editing. Well, you have plenty of time during starting soon segments.
Yo, everyone's getting on Brent today. Brent, I'm sorry. I think
I'm gonna also take heat off of Brent. That's mostly Bianca and I getting ourselves together before we come on camera.
Honestly, it's mostly me sometimes, y'all.
Listen,
I knew it. I knew.
Listen.
I was just like, we're only talking shit because you're not on the.
I don't have my bot today, but I just wanted to throw it out there that it seems like, okay, nobody on this stream, none of my hosts actually know what that reference is, so I wanted to come in and explain it. That's from my personal streams. It's not about your starting soon. It's about my starting soon, where it often goes like 25, 30 minutes because I also do not have my stuff ready to go. So yeah, I wanted to let chat know that RJ Pearson's making a specific call out. It is a direct roast. So
Brent's burn counter is at 3. Is that 2 or 3?
Too many, and I'm leaving. Bye.
Wow. I was just like, when Brent got on stream, I was like, oh man,
this is serious.
Brent's like, say it to my face.
We're now exposing ourselves that I haven't watched a lot of Brent streams. I think I popped in one Black Friday stream.
why you gotta amplify the things that you're not doing? You
Just don't do that.
I'm too honest.
That's your problem. It's a real problem.
Yeah.
Too kind.
I'm too kind.
Too kind, too honest, too humble as well. I feel like that's Alex.
JK. Sorry. Yo, clearly we're all spicy today. We are.
Have you guys heard about my master's degree in robotics? I'm the epitome of no.
This is how you know we definitely are true stream friends, because we know enough about each other that we can do proper roasts. It's great.
I joined a Black Friday stream when Chef Brent was streaming and watched him kind of like look at stuff. It was super fun. Yeah. Okay. You ready to go back to your screen, Andrew?
Sure. Yeah. Pull it up. I'm just like
Oh,
digging
That's
into.
the wrong one.
I'm just like digging in. So I'm over here on Birdie, and I was like, oh, Birdie. Okay, this is like a help desk thing. So maybe they will have like a first party Twilio integration, right? It makes sense. We've got Flex, like we've got Voice, we've got all these things. They have integrations with some other tools, but like I can't find anything directly. So I was like digging into like the source code. Here's the other thing that I love about doing this and like going down this like investigation hole. Investigate, that's a terrible term. Is like you kind of also just get to see how like some of this like JS code is rendered when you're on like a Webflow site. Because like just look at all these like random, this is like copyright timeouts. Like there's just these like I don't know what this does, but I love that it's there. I love that it's just like fetching things and waiting for things and fetching things again. It's beautiful code, just like console logs and errors. Like
I love that you're finding errors in there. But it works. It renders. It looks good.
It does. I mean, listen, it does the job, right? So like JSON placeholders. I love they're doing like a. Okay, this is kind of wild to me. They're doing an API call to render a placeholder. Put the placeholder in the code.
You know, I think these moments bring just the reality of like, I think sometimes when people see these like corporate websites, they're like, oh my gosh, you're so ahead of, you're like, no, we're putting pieces together. This is being held by vibes. And
especially because this isn't changing. Like if they were trying to regenerate something new every time, but like this is getting like the same thing every time. Like
Andrew,
when you refresh
how will you deal if these corporate companies come after you, man? Like you're ready.
Come and talk about it. You know what? Every time I've ever done this, everybody they've like joined in and they're like, hey, can I come on your stream and like talk about like what we do? And like, yeah, come. Like, listen, if you are a Birdie developer and you want to come on to our stream and like talk about some of this stuff, would love to have you. And we can go through it.
I have a Birdie one. So I don't want, if you go to the main Birdie site,
yeah,
as I said, I don't want to go look through there, but look what they integrate with. If you go down a little bit, it'll show you what they integrate with. A little bit. Yeah. Even go up a little bit. There's nicer icons right there. Aircall has a direct Twilio marketplace integration.
Oh, there you go.
I knew one of them looked familiar. You can from the Twilio console, from the marketplace, very public, you can go ahead and add Aircall to your Twilio account.
Okay, so then
that's the degree to Birdie.
Yeah, so Birdie's like a 2 degrees then, right? That 2 or
like
1?
To Aircall to Twilio, sure. Yeah.
Is that 2 or 3?
I think there's
3.
That'd be 3.
I don't think that's 3. Let's look at how they do it for the Kevin Bacon one.
Yeah, so let's see what that is. Okay, Bacon number.
It was the Oracle. So for example, I was trying to figure out my Bacon number. I've taken a photo with Will Ferrell before.
Okay.
So I plugged in Will Ferrell. His Bacon number is 2 because he was in Blades of Glory with Luke Wilson, who was in My Dog Skip with Kevin Bacon. So it looks like it's the number of like jumps that you take. So in this case, it would be Birdie to Aircall to Twilio, which would be 2.
2. Yeah. And then all the other ones we've looked at so far are 1. Like everything's 1.
Because they're in segment, yeah.
Because segments in there. And I do actually count that. I will say, interestingly enough, I did not find when I was looking in Birdie's sources, I did not see segment listed here. So Birdie, what are you doing? You could be using segment. I mean, like things.
And, yeah, there you go. Twilio Flex also has a SendGrid integration. So anyone who integrates with Zendesk would also be 2 degrees. Yeah. So still 2 degrees. I love that. I love that.
Okay. Steven. So I want to dive deeper into this type of code thing. Because hold on. The JSON placeholder thing.
We got a good joke from Steven, Nick.
All right, what do we got, Steven?
Like glued together stuff.
I love
it. He
said
when he did his Track Jacket app, I included a line in the code that said glued together with love and Twilio paste. Andrew, do you know what Twilio paste is?
I don't know what Twilio paste is. Please tell me.
Twilio paste is the look it up. It's the Twilio style guide. So it's like it's like the public facing style guide for how you make apps that look like Twilio.
Oh, I love that. I've heard about this, but I didn't realize I love this.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many degrees do we think Twilio paste is to Twilio? I don't
know.
I feel like Twilio paste is Twilio. If we find somebody using paste, that's one. That's it.
That's true. I mean, do you ever really know yourself? Can Twilio truly ever know Twilio? Okay, I'm really curious. So this one I like, this JSON placeholder one, because it's like this API generator, but it also has source code available.
So this one, JSON placeholder. Okay.
So we're looking at the JSON placeholder one. So we're going to dig into here. So the one that they're generating their placeholders, I don't even know what they're generating the placeholder for in here. Just like have the code in there, but like they're not using it. That makes me kind of mad. They're like calling that API. Like that's going to impact load time. Like, aren't you worried?
It feels a little silly that there's an API that's like JSON placeholder.
I know.
I know. Andrew being like, Andrew's like, aren't you concerned?
You've got this like fetch. This is going on. Run script. I mean, I guess you got it in there. It's working fast, but like, I don't know.
Fake and reliable API for testing and prototyping. So it's if you need to make an API call, you're just making sure the call's happening.
Yeah, but like, I
feel like that's something you do when you're like prod and testing, and you check out when
I wonder if they didn't. I don't think they cross-checked
unless it's something weird, like they have a GitHub test case that needs it to like something in the CI needs it to like hit that placeholder.
Add event listener. So they've got like when the page loads, they're doing that twice.
I see what you did there.
There's things are happening. They're doing. Wait, hold on. What else is going? There's a lot of these calls that are guys. I'm not. This makes my brain. I can't look at Birdie. Birdie, I love what you're doing. I can't look at Birdie anymore. I'm sorry.
I love that we are seeing new sides.
Classic dad joke from alert from. I think we need like an alert side. Chef Brent dad joke alert. One night I went to make an API call and I accidentally made an IPA call instead. Andrew, you missed the cue here.
There we go. We got it. There.
I was like, we cheer for dad jokes now. Oh damn! I said we would stop burning. Brent, damn. Okay. So, well, yeah. So,
I wonder if there's any like websites out there that are using Twilio Paste, or if it's just people like writing things that interact.
Oh, all right. So let's see. So let's do a different way. So instead of going to the sites, let's actually go and look for.
Yeah. Can you make make your text a little bigger?
I most certainly can. Let's accept these cookies. All right. Let's see page templates overview. What are some components that we might see? Components. Let's go something here. Maybe this chat log view code. So we're talking about like this. Is what we're actually going to be using?
I guess so.
Yeah. I guess so.
You could look at GitHub.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't necessarily say. You could look at who started or forked it in GitHub.
Yeah. Okay. So let's do that. Let's go Twilio Paste and then see if they're actually using it. I like it. Let's go Twilio Paste. All right.
There are words that are saying that we are mean. I don't know how much I agree with that comment.
I don't think we're mean at all.
Wow.
I think we're kind. We're very kind.
I agree.
All right. Forks.
We're a little bit spicy today.
A lot of individual.
We are.
Ooh, filter by period. No, nobody's forking this really recently. 6 months. These are like personal projects, though.
Yeah.
What do we got for start?
I was like, isn't that one of our teammates?
I think some of those are teammates, which makes sense. They'd be using it.
You'd think so. Contributors? No.
Community stats? No, that would be contributors too.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Hold on. Let's actually grab a code sample in here. So let me go back to the paste stuff because I actually want to grab like this chat log and see if we can find this being used anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There
In
might be
any
other program projects that use it.
Exactly. So this is the thing is like, we don't necessarily need to find, like, we just need to find a popular open source project that uses Twilio Paste and then find the project that's connected to that. We've got this, people. We've got it. We're there. Best match, React chat log, basic project. There's not enough stars there. Let's give it.
I wonder if my only concern though is chat log too generic?
Could be. Okay, so we want to go more Twilio specific.
Yeah.
What do we got? What do we got? What's it?
Brent was mentioning the font was Twilio Sans.
How do we find? Oh, for designers, design guidelines. Twilio Paste components.
You could do at Twilio-paste, which would then sit there and live in someone's packages.
Oh, okay. Can you actually like just add it as a package? Hold on. NPM JS.
I don't think you NPM it. They say you can use Yarn.
Twilio Paste Core. Yeah, you can do it. Would you just use Twilio Paste Core? Yeah, like, is this how you would install it? I don't know.
According to the docs, it says use Yarn, but
nobody uses Yarn. Yarn is not even a real package manager. It's like it thought that it could be, but I don't think it's. I love that this is what it comes up with. Yarn.
I was like,
why is this so deep in your search history, Andrew? Are you a knitter?
I mean, I will say, well, because Alex, if you're not aware, Alex and I are doing a.
Andrew hasn't answered your question.
Yeah,
you danced around the question.
I did.
That is a very yes or no answer. Are you a yarn person?
Do you knit?
I don't knit.
Okay.
I wish I could knit. So when I taught, one of the things that would happen a lot is students would come in and they'd be like, oh, I have like really restless hands. Like, can I knit in your class? And I would be like, heck yeah. And I never got up the nerve to be like, can you like knit me a hat? Cause then I can have like a hat to remember this class by.
There's like a weird, I think it's like a Ram Dass story that this reminds me of, where like Ram Dass gave this speech and there's just this old, very put together looking lady in like the front row, just like knitting away. And he's getting weirder and weirder about all the different psychedelics and everything else that he's done and like how he reaches these transcendental states. And this one, he's like so confused. And this woman comes and she's like nodding along the whole time. And she like comes up to him afterwards and was like, I resonated so much. That was so great. And he's like, what are you talking about? You haven't like done all these things I've done. Like, she's like, no, but I knit. And it's like, that was her meditation. And she was getting to the same level, just knitting. It's amazing.
I love that. All right. So we did the Twilio Paste. We're doing a code search in here. Get Squid. Please be an actual application because that's a fantastic name. Please be a convenient, configurable desktop application for navigating GitHub issues. Oh, I love that. Really? I love these like little projects you've never heard of before.
Yeah.
Is this still active? Can I like Google Get Squid? Please have an actual website.
Oh,
it doesn't. No. It doesn't. I mean, Get Kraken existed, but I do love Get Squid. No. Okay, so we got that, but not an active thing. Simply Business. That seems like a corporate name. If that's not a name of a company, I don't know what is. Forked as well. Simply Business. Are they?
It seems like they might be like a consultancy, like a dev shop.
Ooh, but they are also error. I don't think I've ever seen a 1016 error before.
It's British.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course. Okay, so
looks like we had some comments in chat.
Oh, we got chat. Nathaniel was on the list.
Yeah. I hope Nathaniel would be on the list.
Yeah, me too. We got Twilio Dev Ed. We got a bunch of people. Network interface. Look at that. Segment is using Twilio Paste. That's probably good. Probably good. Some Studio Insight stuff. So not surprisingly, I'm not seeing a lot of folks that are using.
RJ, do you know what a 1016 error is on a web page? I was just making a joke that's British because it was a .co.uk web page that had an error no one had seen before. So if you know what a 1016 is, enlighten us.
So I am like not finding.
Hey,
it doesn't.
Let's be real here. Does it surprise you that there's not a bunch of people using?
I'm
Twilio
shocked.
based?
I'm hurt actually, really, at the real honest truth of it.
Steven Nick gave us some details about what.
Oh, it's
a
Cloudflare
1016 error
specific.
Because Cloudflare is telling us it's a DNS error.
Okay, that tracks.
Cloudflare cannot resolve the origin website server's IP address. So that's what a 1016 error is. So it's not British, it's Cloudflare.
Okay.
It's not British.
But I do like this idea of just searching at Twilio because we have a bunch of SDKs that are out there. And so it doesn't need to be at Twilio paste. We've got a lot of stuff that's in here.
Kind of a fun, just seeing who's using us.
Yeah, especially in like open source projects, I feel like there's something really powerful. Look at that, some super class callouts as well. I love it. Telemetic. Oh wait, why are we referencing somebody's email in there?
I don't know.
That must be a package.
Hey, that's also, no one has a first name at Twilio anymore.
Interesting. So that's like classic. Oh yeah, 11 years ago. Yeah. Django, integrate Twilio into your Django apps with ease. Okay.
We got some Craig's Dennis using at Twilio and some stuff.
Oh, more. Okay, we can just look at repository. Oh, I want to see all the repositories. Just show me the repositories. All right. What else we got in here? iTopGun, Twilio PHP stuff, Pickfire, 100 Days of Code. I love that you can always tell which are like actual like corporate GitHub accounts and which are definitely not corporate. Oh, look at that. Look, some Lizzie Siegel stuff. Yeah, there's not some Phil Nash. We're pulling out some old the best of list. Look at that. Twilio's using it.
There is a Shopify Twilio Ruby.
Where'd you see that?
I don't know. It's on my second page when I looked at Twilio.
Second page, and we had some
Shopify
Ruby.
Shopify has a Twilio Ruby gem.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
It's not showing up on mine. Why are you not showing up on mine? All right, let's go deeper into here. Marcus QD. Yeah, you're finding more than I am, I think, sometimes. This is good though. I like that we're calling out some that a lot. Listen, a lot of people are using Twilio. Did you do at Twilio in your search, or just like Twilio
in my search?
Interesting. Maybe I searched repo. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, just the normal search.
Fascinating. Blog. Somebody using us in their blog. I'm not surprised there. Twilio in 10 minutes. SMS notifications. Telemetic. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's like, we got a lot of people that are using Twilio in their products, but not like a company, like not a deeper dive.
Well, we also wouldn't be finding it on here, right? Like, think about you're going to find on GitHub. It's people's personal project and open source stuff.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Clear Care. Twilio Python. They must have just forked this.
Shout out. I found Sarah Stinger when I was looking. Who's joining us on our next level up.
There you go. I mean, so you say that, but like, what's the largest open source application on GitHub? No, I want like a full application.
By stars. There you go.
Where am I looking?
GitHub ranking top 100 stars.md. Yeah.
Freecode Camp, awesome list.
Huge.
That makes sense.
Do you think there's some free code camp stuff with Twilio?
Oh, I have 100%. I think there's free code camp stuff with Twilio. I think that all we need to do is go into here and search Twilio, and we're gonna find. Wow, really? Is it just because? Hold on,
hold on. I see one. They have a post here that I'm looking at. How to build a WhatsApp directory chatbot using Twilio Fast API and MongoDB. So like, it's on their blog. It might just not be in their official stuff.
The way all our faces were like,
how dare they?
I was like shocked.
Shook. I feel like Craig at one point did some free code camp stuff.
Yeah, that would have shocked me. What I want like full applications. Okay, Oh My ZSH is pretty neat.
I use that.
Who doesn't use? I got to meet the creator of this at a conference in Boston. He was the keynote speaker.
Nice.
It does.
Look, Bootstrap. This is a big one.
Bootstrap still. Yeah, Oh My ZSH. If you haven't used this, it's just like a framework for managed ACE right here. But the team is really awesome. I also love, like, it's very opinionated. Like, I will not make you a 10x developer, but you may feel like one. All right, let's go into here. Okay, so let's see. Is there any Twilio stuff in here? Let's see. Just like start off. Do we got Twilio?
Doubt it.
You say that, but I will say Oh My ZSH does have Oh My ZSH does have a lot of plugins. And I have a feeling that at least one of these plugins will be the connection to Twilio. But which one will it be? AWS, Azure, Brew? What do we got in here? What's the thing that's related to like telephony or communications that you would want to do in here?
Not me being like Chuck Norris. We've had interesting internal project names.
Denote, Docker, Drush, Emacs. Emacs has definitely got a Twilio integration, right? We're definitely Emacs people.
So?
No, I do not. I definitely do not. Flux, no. Gem, Geeknote. I mean, GitFlow. I feel like there's going to be something that pops up here and you're like, really? This is an extension that you've built? Homestead, Ionic, JFrog. Like, some of these have probably got like this is like a 3 degrees.
Yeah. Well, so I saw it I just saw LastPass CLI at the top. I saw 1Password. I wonder if, I don't know if they're customers, but like some of those do have text-based authentication.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be using Authy or something as well. Let's go and take a look. 1Password. I mean, I can almost guarantee they're using Segment. So like, I feel like we're probably, look at that. Do a little line wrap there.
Whoa, different.
Just a little bit less, little condensed.
Yeah.
Is that you can tell developers were involved in this process. What is this? Man, the internet's a wild place, hey? What?
We're looking at like the underbelly. We're looking at how the sausage is made here.
We are. It also is interesting because this is like a security, like it's interesting to see like the levels of security that these different websites have. And then 1Password's like, don't even look here. Don't look too deep.
Don't dig in because
we're gonna make you look dizzy. It's just gonna make you a little dizzy. Don't even bother.
What I love too is this is like they're like line wrap, because otherwise you get 4 lines that are just like an exponential number, and then you're like, oh yeah, totally. Let's prettify this, and you're like, what is this madness?
And then at that point they're like, then you would just get off the site. They're trying to deter you.
You're like, I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Segment is in here. I feel like they're not going to show anything.
No. They shouldn't. That's
the going back into like the different styles or the different priorities. Like, I'm glad. See, this is making me like, okay, I someone might want to be a customer because of this. Because they're like, how?
Yeah.
How's that site flow?
All right.
Yeah. I'm looking at Oh My Zesh, and there's a few things that like you could argue are a jump, right? Like,
okay, what do you got?
Code. There's a VS Code plugin on Oh My Zesh, and there's a Twilio VS Code plugin.
Okay, I'll give you that. That's like not that far of a leap. I feel like that's probably one, but it's like you don't need, but like that's okay. You don't, just because you don't need it doesn't mean you
gave us
can.
Another idea for how to search on Craig for Segment.
Oh,
how do you mix the toe, a frog? How do you mix a frog and a Craig
and an S codes?
Oh, all right.
S codes.
Here we go.
It's a Monday,
Aki.
Tuesday.
Oh, I wish that Aki did. I really like this analytics package. I would love if Aki was using Segment, but it's like a self-hosted tool, so I doubt it.
But they might have integrations with people who use it in Segment. Like, they might just make it easy for other people to use Segment.
But analytics.js, you would have to search for like Segment though, right? Because like analytics.js isn't specific to Segment, is it?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, Craig if you want to explain why that one works.
Yeah, because we're getting a lot of
Is
Google.
analytics.js a specific segment?
Maybe the package.
Yeah,
Maybe
it
that's
is
like.
segment. Analytics.js is segment, that package.
But Google's also got their own analytics.js.
Oh.
Google Analytics / Wait, is Google using Segment? That would be intense. That would also just like destroy every server that we have. Just crash everything. Yeah, we're getting a lot of like Google Analytics.js stuff, but not a lot of, I mean, I don't even know what this is. What language is this? This is JavaScript music blocks? A musical micro world.
From 5 years ago. Nice.
Oh, that's sick.
That's cool.
It's like Scratch for making music.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool. I actually really dig that. Running music blocks. AGPL. That seems like a weird one to do in AGPL, but I also like that it makes sure that people don't like take it and make money with it. Interesting. Center for Music Education.
This is okay. So I see where you're going here. I see where you're going here, Andrew.
This is just a deep dive into the internet.
So,
Yeah.
okay. So I think, my initial thought on this pilot, right, is that I think this pilot is very rich. Like, I think there's the 6 degrees, but I think there are these kind of tangents that it goes into. So going back into the underbelly of the websites, there's also this security layer of just ooh, we probably can dive into that. And I think it might be interesting. Yeah, this one's going to be an interesting one. Now, doing it live, I think that might be that's why you're living life on the wild side. So I think this one can be broken up a little bit. I think this is I
like that. I like having set pieces of the show. It's here's going to be this piece where we're going to do this kind of a dive. Oh,
yeah, because the other thing too is just even just then we discovered a lot of random sites, right? So I think there's even this company, what are people building, right? So I think that's an aspect too. Speaking of what are people building,
what are people building?
we had an ask for all of y'all to find the fun. If you haven't joined our Discord yet, this is my little commercial for finding the fun.
We started a Discord channel, and there's already some good stuff in there.
Yes,
in the
and
Find the Fun channel.
So our ask this year is that we want to find the fun. We are on a fun quest of fun finding. So whenever you find fun with Twilio, please be sure to
in the Find the Fun, we've got somebody who has a band that posted signs promoting their band with their phone number all over the place, wherever they were. I'm not sure where. And it was all using Twilio on the back end, and you could call and hear their newest song. That was one that was in Find the Fun. We saw a parent who made a busy board that had phones and little switchboard things, and then decided his kid was well, why can't I use this phone for real? And so he plugged it so the kid picks up the phone and it calls the grandparents. And I was like, that's amazing. So yeah, we got some fun stuff in there. Brent with the BAM Discord.
Bam. So yeah, no, I think I think with the degrees of Twilio, I think there are a few layers in there. So I think, and then also I think going back into just building a robust website company and all the things that go into that. So I think you can even at some point have guests of just how are you thinking about guests, which might be CTOs, how do you think about scale? What tools do you use versus not, and why? So I think there might be some aspects there. So I think you would do yourself a disservice if you just focused on the discovery piece, because I think within discovery, if you just focus on the quest, right, of finding. So yeah, that's the thought.
Bianca, has anybody ever told you that we're on the same wavelength? I feel like I've said this, where I feel like maybe once in a while you and Alex are on the same wavelength, but I feel like it's not the A that you need all the time. Sometimes you can trade out the A's, and
I mean, I can just do that.
This is a day of just Alex being in full control of things.
I was like, Brent, you might have to like, I don't know, can you revoke permissions? And I don't know. Alex is like,
The power
bye.
has gone to my head.
This is
I'm
gonna
feeling a
happen.
little weird today.
Humble Alex.
The show started with my child just crying in the background was not a fun.
We all clearly. I mean, I'm just, we're in a Monday shirt. We have made it though.
Yeah, we've made it.
Yeah.
How did you feel doing that?
Yeah.
Andrew, how'd you feel like going through that deep dive into like?
Oh, I love that. I mean, honestly, that's the piece that I love about what we do. I love in such a deep way being into tech is just about like you find weird things and then it inspires you. Like I love exposing like the inner workings of the internet and just like cringing at things that people do that then you go and look in your own code and you're like, did I do that somewhere? Like, would somebody go and look at my code and do the same thing?
When you build a web page out, I don't know if I like go and like, I mean, I inspect it when I'm trying to like troubleshoot, but I don't look for the stuff that you were looking for.
No, because why? Because you wouldn't, right? You're just like, nobody's actually going into the source code and like, it's weird too, right? Because so much stuff you assume, because especially in like React, you've got like the virtual DOM and you're like, oh, it's all happening in the virtual DOM. And then it's all getting like cleaned out by the time it goes into like the real DOM that somebody sees. And you're like, oh, I guess I didn't understand how the virtual DOM worked.
Yeah.
The other thing too that comes up is like even format. So like I think this show would also be really good like as watching it back, so you can catch certain things, so you can pause, because that's the one thing I'm thinking about, which is like pace. Like, is there a way to kind of savor some of the discovery moments? Because I do think like when you're on a quest to find something, you can start to like, we just need to find the thing, versus, and then there are these pieces of it that's like you might want to linger a little bit. So I think there might, like, what does it look like to kind of, what does the pause look like for the show? So I'll be curious about that. So yeah, did ask chat if you have any thoughts of like stuff you'd want to see. Again, this is pilot month, like we are building it live, right? Yeah. So if there's stuff that you'd want to see, if there's stuff that you're like, oh, I like this aspect of it, let us know. We don't have any.
Yeah, no, speaking of pilot week, next week is the last, or pilot month, next week is the last month of pilot month, and we don't know what it's going to be yet, but we know who's going to be joining us, and it is the chef himself.
The chef of the brand
on stream. He's got a few ideas lingering. He's hiding right now. We'll see if it's going to be just him. We'll see if he's going to bring a friend.
A friend or a frog?
I don't know. There might be some amphibious life going on here. Yeah, so we're gonna be back next week, same time, 2 p.m. Eastern, with Brent premiering some show idea of his, and we're excited. Yeah.
That sounds so intense. I was like, can we make our own sound effects and like add it?
Probably. I just don't know how yet.
I think one day we'll need to make like a woohoo.
Bianca, we'll get you in the sound booth and we'll start recording Bianca, and then I can just have like Bianca buttons.
Wow. Okay.
I want that. Cut it.
Okay.
I want that. I want the button that makes Bianca just go. That's what I want. And then you can have the button that makes me do it too.
It'll be great. Well, thank you, chat, thank you
for being here.
And then thank you for folks that will join us in the future. It's a Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah. If you're watching this in the future, jump on Discord and let us know what you think about it.
Yeah. What did you think of our Moose Day stream?
Or Moose Day.
Moose Day.
Sounds like a Moose Bish.
Tunday? No, Moose Day. A Moose Day.
I like Moose Day. Moose Day sounds cool. No, yeah. Well, it was great seeing. Well, it's great seeing y'all, and it was great talking.
It's great chatting with chat.
Yeah, it was great to chat with Chat, but yeah, okay. I enjoyed my human interaction today. It was great. Well, as always, it's a pleasure. Thank you, Andrew returns to stream. It
Thanks for
is a
having me.
delight to have you. Thank you also for just being super bold and just like trying stuff out. We appreciate it, and we're excited to see which show lands on the circuit.
I'm excited. If you want to make sure that all the Andrew shows make it, chat, get into Discord, join the Discord, get over there and say like, we need more Andrew. That's what you need to say.
Join. What's your fan club's name? What's someone who's a big Andrew fan?
It's an and club. Does that make sense? An
and
club? An and club?
And club?
An and. I don't know. That was terrible. Give me. I'll workshop it.
Okay.
Andrew. I think Craig got it.
Let's go, Craig.
Craig's got it.
We're just gonna have the Craig hotline. The Craig hotline for cool names.
It's Craig GPT.
So I've been I've got like a secret like learning like project that I'm having, and I feel like the phone number needs to just be like, call it Craig Bot, just like a Craig that's not Craig. I feel like Craig can never truly leave.
No. All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you again next week right here on Twitch, 2 p.m. Eastern. Bye.
Bye.